Welcome back, Bravonians. This is season 3, episode 20 of the NFLA. That's Brooksee. I'm Calvo. And of course, we are your Canadian NFL loving football fans. If you've been with us from the start, you know what this is all about. We love to recap the games that just happened. And man, what a weekend of football. We kind of saw it all, right? We had upsets, we had blowouts, some legends going home early, and some big powerhouse teams that you thought might be going deep are now going home. What a beautiful, beautiful weekend of football. How you doing over there, buddy? Say hi to the good people.
Yeah, hi guys. It definitely put the Wild in wild card. That Rams Panthers game was easily the best game of the week, though, and then it kind of went downhill from there. But there were still a couple of pretty good games, and yeah, I mean, obviously, it sucks that my Eagles are out, but I'm kind of relieved at this point. Like this just didn't feel like the year.
All right, man. Well, I mean, I get it. And I think we kind of half joked last week where I was like, the one that you're lying to yourself if you think they're going deep. That segment we did later on. You had mentioned that you were somewhat trusting of your Eagles. So I guess it all makes sense on how you're feeling right now. And
I was right to put them there.
fair enough. Well, let's start with the Rams versus Panthers, because like you said, it was a pretty banger of a game. And I was wrong when I predicted this score. I thought the Rams were going to smoke them. It'd be a bloodbath. And just like the couple weeks before, the Panthers gave the Rams all they could handle. But Matty Stafford proved why he should be the MVP and rolled the Rams to 34-31 victory, being the feel-good story Panthers of the year.
A lot of people really thought that this game was going to be one-sided, an absolute blowout, and I was one of the few I think that didn't. Right, I was
Yeah,
like, this game's going to be close. I actually thought the Panthers would win up until like the last couple minutes. They were winning. They were
right.
in position to win this game. It was crazy how close this game was, back
Yeah.
and forth, like four lead changes in the fourth quarter, just an absolute shootout. And I like this Carolina team might scare some teams next year. Like they just picked up Bryce's option already, his fifth year option for
Yeah.
next year. They're going to run it back, and this team could do some damage. Like they a couple of adjustments, couple of improvements on defense, and man, like this is a contender. Give the
Absolutely.
Rams all they could handle.
Well, they're basically like 40 seconds away from moving on to the next round and eliminating probably one of the top favorites for the
Yeah,
Super Bowl, right?
yeah.
So,
All the
yeah,
pressure was on the Rams, and they almost folded. But
yeah. Well, these guys are buying in. So you love to see it for Dave Canales over there because as we know over the last few years, the Panthers have not been very exciting to watch. So maybe they're finally building the team over there. But yeah, shows you why having that veteran QB late in the game can really make a difference, right?
Matty Stafford already has a championship with the Rams, looking
Hmm.
for his second, and this will be probably his first. I think he's a front runner for MVP. This will be his first. Very deserving. Showed why this game over 300 yards passing, three touchdowns. Just didn't quit. Like this Panthers team gave them every reason to be like, oh, okay, this isn't our year. And Matty
Right,
Stafford said, hold up.
right.
So
Well, it's
yeah,
crazy the story about Stafford too, because he barely even played in training camp. He didn't do much. He didn't even know if he was going to be able to play this year because his back was so messed up. And here he is, you know, he's got the
yeah.
Rams in the next round. He's leading voter for the MVP. Like, love that man. What a warrior.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the craziest years out of a guy that we weren't sure was going to even play this year at all. Like, you have to give this guy the MVP. But, he's got guys around, he's got weapons to help him, right? Guys like Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams all year have been unbelievable for him, all right? When you have guys like that, you're going to look pretty good. Puka in this game, 10 catches, 111 yards receiving, a touchdown, showing why he's such a threat. Probably going to be the offensive player of the year. So yeah, this Rams team is legit, but so was that Panthers team, man. Give him a scare. It was such a good game. It's a great way to kick off Saturday Wildcard Weekend.
Absolutely. And then you followed up with one of the most historic rivalries in all of football. And
Yeah,
typically, especially over the last few years, the Packers have really owned the Bears. Well, Ben Johnson's come out and said, this has to be a rivalry. He took a lot of flack after this game was over, after the Bears defeated the Packers 31-27 for this quick little cheeky handshake that he did with Matt LaFleur at the middle of the field. And I give kudos to Ben Johnson. Yeah, keep it a rivalry. You don't have to be friends with him. Like, be competitive, be gentlemanly, but you don't have to be friends. Move on. But
Well,
man, we saw Caleb Williams start to show why he was such a top pick, right?
this is a wild game, and I think if the Rams Panthers game was the best game of the weekend, this, I mean, this was probably the best comeback of the year, but definitely the best comeback of the weekend, and one of the more, I would say, probably the most interesting game of the weekend. Packers were up 21-3 at halftime. Like the Bears could do nothing in that first half. And then even into the third quarter, I think they only mustered a field goal in the third quarter too. Like they were down large late in the game. And they are yeah, third quarter. Yeah, looking at it right now, field goal, and then 25 points in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams, where the hell did this come from?
Right. Finally got that offense down a little bit, and difference has been like guys are making plays now. Like Colson Loveland was incredible in this game.
Yeah,
Um, like just the connection that those two have started to develop this year is pretty good. But yeah, like you said, race a 21-3 halftime deficit is definitely one of the biggest comebacks in Bears playoff history, let alone playoff history altogether. Like obviously, there's that Atlanta New England Super Bowl that's very famous as well, right?
yeah.
But obviously not the same magnitude in this game, but good on the Bears.
I mean, when you're down 18 in a playoff game anytime, it's and come back to win, it's huge, right? Yeah, and obviously, yeah, no one no one will ever top that 28-3 Atlanta um, blowing that to in the Super Bowl. But I mean, yeah, Caleb Williams showed why, he's got the Bears to this point this year. And I think they've had a few wins like this year, the late comebacks, the just not giving up and things going their way, getting some turnovers. I think they ended up leading the league in turnover differential, and it was kind of a factor here too, right? Like Love didn't throw any picks, but the Green Bay players, ball carriers, put the ball on the ground four fucking times. Josh Jacobs fumbled, Jordan Love fumbled, Kennard fumbled, Christian Watson fumbled. So yeah, I mean, you can't be doing that in the playoffs. And the Bears capitalize on a stat that they've been beating everyone at this entire season. And so that just kind of goes to show that maybe this formula is going to work for the Bears to go on a deep run.
Do you think the Packers got complacent at half then?
I think so. Yeah, you have to imagine that they did, right? Because this is a team that they normally don't have much trouble with. And when you have a lead like that, you just assume it's game over, right? Bears were doing nothing. So,
Well, especially with the Packers and led by Matt LaFleur, like you don't really think of them as blowing a major lead team.
yeah,
So it's one of these things, and Matt LaFleur was kind of taking some heat too, and everyone was up in the air about whether or not they'd want him back next year. But they've already come out and said, no, he's safe, and in fact, we're probably going to give him an extension. And again, so many people are so quick to pull the cord on these guys when they have one bad year out of like a decade. Like unless they're like drastically losing the next year, you know what I mean? Not even making the playoffs. Maybe they only win like 6 games. Then yeah, I think maybe you have a cause to get rid of the guy. When all he's done is, won divisions, brought the team deep into the playoffs or to the playoffs at least in most years.
right
Why
you
you want to
are.
get rid of that guy?
Yeah, I can't see why you would either, but yeah, I mean, anytime you lose, right, you're gonna have people calling for shit like that. So
Absolutely.
like that fourth quarter was absolutely wild, and you have to credit what Caleb Williams has been able to do in his second year, right? And like he's got some weapons too. We talk about Stafford having all these weapons, but like look at what Colston Loveland did, the young tight end did this game. 8 catches
Mhm.
for 137 yards. You don't see that out of rookie tight ends, especially in the playoffs. Like he was just methodical in that fourth, and it just you kind of have to wonder, well, what were you doing for the first three quarters if you were able to do that in the fourth, right?
Right. Well, I felt
But
like through most of these games in the playoffs so far, that is what it's been. It's like, okay, these massive fourth quarters because guys finally figure out how to break through, and it's taken 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters to get the game going. Well, that's kind of what you'd expect this time of year.
pretty atypical playoff games, I think, to kick us off on the Saturday, buddy. So why don't we move into Sunday?
Absolutely. And again, in retrospect, it's like, why was this game at 1 p.m. on Sunday? And I know the games are one at a time, so literally everybody's watching them, but you don't think this should have been the Sunday nighter? Bills versus Jags?
A
Dude,
hundred percent, 100%.
another one of these close back and forth games. And we saw 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter. So again, that was the theme. Big fourth quarters, back and forth. Nobody can hold the lead. And Josh Allen showed why can't forget about him in the MVP discussion either. Because really, who does he have for weapons outside of James Cook and maybe Dalton Kincaid sometimes? Absolutely nobody. And he goes 28 for 35 for 273 yards, threw a touchdown, ran for two more. Allen goes beast mode, beat the Jags 27 to 24.
And he's probably
Dude.
and he's probably going to have to carry this entire team to the Super Bowl if they're going to go there. But like this game was like a carbon copy of almost a carbon copy of the Rams Panthers game, just
Mhm.
slightly lower scoring. But yeah, like kind of shot for shot here and there throughout the first three, and then a frenetic fourth quarter. They each scored two touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But yeah, exactly the lead changes back and forth. I think the two best AFC teams had to fight it out first week of the playoffs, and unfortunately, one of them has to go home. I
Yeah.
was a huge Jaguars fan, and I think that they're going to be good again next year. But it sucks to see them go home first round. But hey, man, those Bills are for real.
I don't remember. Were they your lock of the week? Jaguars?
Fuck yeah, my fucking lock failed me finally,
Oh no. Oh no. That could be huge for the
and the
standings.
Bills were your dog.
The Bills were my dog. Dude,
Yeah,
I'm one. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
yeah.
But yes, the Bills are my dog. Just had a little feeling about them. Go Bills.
And we've talked many times this year. We talked a good chunk of the year about the Jacksonville defense and how they were one of the best defenses in the entire league getting the job done. But it was actually the Buffalo defense that got the job done late, right, with that clutch interception very late
Yeah,
to seal the Bills' win. So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, hey, what more can you ask for? Right? Like you gave yourself a chance. It's late in the game. You got a chance to win it. And you got to take a risk, right? And unfortunately, you got intercepted. But I don't think if you're a Jaguars fan, you can't really be upset about this year. I know you went out in the first round, but I don't think even halfway, if you start the year, you see what the Colts are doing. I don't think anybody even really expect you to win the division,
yeah,
maybe be even battling for a wild card because of KC and Baltimore and Cincy if they're healthy, right? Like you just never know at the beginning of the year. But man, I think the Jags, much like the Panthers, kind of shocked some people this year.
got to be painful as fuck to go 13-4 and get eliminated first round of the playoffs. Like that's such a promising season, and it's
Yeah.
over just like that, right? But like
Or
sometimes you
15
just
and 2 and losing the divisional round.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. Um, But what do you want though, right? Like I think you just ran into the wrong team, and I think
Oh
had
yeah.
Jacksonville got matched up against pretty much anyone else, they'd have gotten through. But I think they'll look at it now, and like if Buffalo, I think Buffalo's going to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC for sure, and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to look back and be like, well, we just ran into Buffalo at the wrong fucking time, but this is the team that deserved to be there, right? So,
Hmm.
but Buffalo, to their credit, not only advance, but they break a 33-year-old road game playoff drought with this
Hmm.
gritty win. Credit
Crazy.
to Josh gutting it out in the final year of Highmark Stadium, or I guess,
Yeah. Well, kudos to them though. Like over the last few years, they haven't had to go on the road. So
yeah, the Ralph as they call it.
yeah. Well, buddy,
Mhm.
let's move on. Your
Sure,
fir- your Eagles versus the 49ers. Eagles were what pick for you?
they were
They
my
were your
lock.
lock.
They were my
So,
lock.
oh yeah, Eagles were your lock. Jags were your dog.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So now we're tied with our locks records.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Carry
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Great. Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. This
Well, you
game
can
sucked.
cut all that out.
This game sucked. Like just painful the way we lost. We were like another one that we were winning most of the game, and then kind of the craziest quarter was the fourth, and San Fran went off for 13 of their 23 points in that fourth, and we blew it. We needed the defense so much, and you know what? It's kind of a blessing in disguise. Like I was mad for a minute when we lost like I was telling you earlier, but then I was almost immediately relieved because I get to stop caring about this team this year. It didn't feel like the year, almost right from the get-go. Vibes were off. The offense was terrible most of the year, or off and on at best. It was maybe two or three games where we strung a full 60-minute effort together. It didn't feel like the year. So I think I almost think that if the defense had been able to carry this team to a couple of playoff wins, it would have been enough to keep Kevin Patullo in his job. And I'm so kind of thankful that we lost because today the Eagles fired Patullo less than 48 hours later. So thank goodness. Hopefully we can get a capable offensive coordinator in there next year. And when it's 4th and 11 game on the line, last minute of the game, and you just do the same boring shit you've done all year long, have four receivers run go routes and just kind of throw it into triple coverage, trying to squeeze it into Dallas Goedert 10 yards downfield when you need 11 and there's three guys around him. Dumb, boring, predictable play calling. I'm done with Kevin Patullo. So are the Eagles. Thank fucking Christ. But like, I think the dumbest thing to me was, and I don't know who did this. I don't know whose call this was. The shittiest part to me was not the 4th and 11 sending four guys straight up the field and hoping San Fran couldn't defend for a play. The dumbest thing to me was when the Eagles were driving in this one just prior to that. They had the clock was stopped because third down was incomplete. The clock was stopped. Figure your shit out. There was no reason to waste a timeout because they had all three. But they wasted a timeout there, and then when they had to punt the ball, or sorry, when they turned it over on fourth down, if they had kept their three timeouts, they could have got it. Like they could have gotten San Fran to fourth down because San Fran was just going to be running the ball. They could have at least made San Fran punt it back to Philly. Not much time on the clock and no timeouts left, but at least give yourself a chance, right? For a, you know, one shot down the sideline and get close enough for a Hail Mary or something like that. Dumb, 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 dumb to waste that fucking timeout on fourth down there. No need for that. And I think that's what cost us. Well, that's not what cost us the game, but that was what cost us a chance at the end to at least, yeah. Anyway, dumb play calling, dumb timeout taking. I think the coaching. I like Nick Sirianni, but if that was his call to take that timeout there, that's fucking dumb. But yeah, anyway, the defense was great. Again, defense just couldn't make a stop at the end when we needed them to. We were winning late, and we let San Fran go down the field and score. Uh, Winning all game. The defense. I don't know what more I can say about this defense. Quinyon Mitchell, 2 picks in this game of Brock Purdy. He looked fantastic. Gave us every chance to get the defense off the field and keep the offense on it. And yeah, we weren't good enough on offense. Story of pretty much our season.
Well, I kind of had a feeling that it would be a CMC game. Just like I said last week, it's hard to shut him down for 2 games in a row. And
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that trick play from Juwan Jennings to McCaffrey, like pretty sick
That was
touchdown.
pretty, and that was the tide turner right there because it took the lead for San Fran and like
Yeah,
it swung the momentum because it was pretty. It was
yeah,
basically they Philly specialed us.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They said Juwan Jennings had more completed passes over 15 yards than Jalen Hurts.
definitely
Oh
threw
man.
more touchdowns in that second half.
Oh my God, that's terrible. But we kind of half expected that this was going to be a defensive battle, right? And
Yeah,
unfortunately for defenses, if your offense is going 3-and-out all the time, you'd have no time to rest. And when you got a guy like CMC on the other side that's going to, attack you left, right, and center, and I even kind of brought up last week that I thought it was going to be the receiving game that he beats you up in and not the rushing, and that's kind of what it was because you guys had the big boys up the middle, right? But it was just one of these things that you guys didn't capitalize on those takeaways. Like,
exactly.
yeah, you can't hang this on the defense at all. It was Jalen Hurts, like he looked undecisive and like you said, just boring play calling. And
Yep.
like I remember talking on the group chat and yeah, we like to bug each other on there, but it literally was like the first kind of shit game of the playoffs.
It was. Yeah.
And it really kind of wasn't though in the same breath. Like it was just a defensive
You do like
kind of
watching a nice
battle,
defensive
but
battle once in a while for sure.
it did feel sloppy on both sides
Yeah,
with the
the offenses
turnovers
just
and
were
the
not
just
capitalizing exactly. And had so many
yeah
turnovers. Yeah.
and the inefficiencies. Well, I'm sorry, dude. You got one more game than me. I can't say I'm overly sad for you, but
Well, the
I
one thing I will say is like I also think AJ Brown has played his last game as an Eagle. He did create a lot of drama this year,
yeah,
notably upset with either the offense as a whole or his role in the offense or whatever else he was mad about, but he made his frustrations known a couple times this year. Um, but mostly has backed it up when his number's been called upon. He's been really good.
yeah.
Um, he had a couple of nasty fucking drops in this game. Like
I was just
brutal,
about to
brutal,
say,
brutal drops. Jalen made perfect throws, hit him literally right in the hands right here and through the
yeah,
hands and out and on crucial downs too, like a
yeah,
couple of third, fourth downs where we really needed a conversion and it was a perfect pass. AJ's open. He's got the first down yardage. Catch a ball.
Yep.
Just catch a ball, man. And
Yep.
terrible drops. He can't do those. So between all the drama he's created and now, poor play,
Mhm.
because obviously his head is not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
He might be done here too. So bye bye Patullo, maybe bye bye AJ. I think I'd be okay with it at this point. I love AJ. He's been so good for us for so long, but
Yep.
yeah,
Sometimes you just gotta move on. And I was gonna bring that up, like you run your mouth and then
yeah.
you have the kind of the two biggest drops of the game in those key pivotal moments. And then, you're getting blasted by your coach on the sideline too. And it just like you're right, it feels
You
inevitable,
can't
to be
really
honest.
even tell what Nick Sirianni said to AJ there to piss him off so much, but I hope it was, hey, catch a fucking ball.
Right?
Because yeah, that would set AJ off, but where's the lie?
Glad we paid you this much money.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I'm sure Chargers fans were feeling a certain type of way just like that because, man, your defense plays unreal
Yep.
and your offense puts up 3 points. Justin Herbert equals not playoff performer. Can you beat the headlines at this point?
Uh no, he's not given us any reason to think that he can beat the headlines. So I mean, yeah, he's a great regular season quarterback. Show up when it matters.
Exactly.
Now, is it all on him?
No.
Hell no. That offensive line,
Oh, yeah.
like
Swiss
he,
cheese.
yeah, like he was getting destroyed this game. So when you only have
Yeah.
so much time to make these decisions, let alone make these passes,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna struggle. But at the same time, 19 for 31, 159 yards, no touchdowns. It's not gonna cut it, man. Just over 5 yards of completion. It's not
Yeah.
gonna cut it.
Well, and to the credit of the O line, yes, they were not good, but they're also missing their two biggest tackles in Alt and Slater. So that's going to take a
Oh,
hit.
for
But man,
sure.
you could
Yeah.
not give Justin Herbert any time. Like
Yeah.
that dude was running for his life. He's already banged up, playing through a, repaired hand. And then you're going to go out and let him get smoked. Like,
Well,
did he
yeah,
get
he
sacked like
had
6 times?
I think 6 times, and he had to scramble constantly. He was the Chargers' leading rusher. That's
Right.
how much he was running. Ran for 57 yards, led the team by over 20 yards, like
Right.
25 yards or something. He beat Vidal by, so
Wow.
not good.
And those rushing yards was just him running away from guys bigger than him.
Yeah,
Please don't
exactly.
hit me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't concuss me. I'd like to finish this game. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the other side though, Drake May, pretty damn good. And we talk about
Absolutely.
Matt Stafford as the MVP front runner, and maybe Drake May is saying, "Hold on,
Mhm.
look what I can do. I can dismantle one of the best defenses in the league. Maybe not dismantle, but did more than enough to get this game won for New England and move on to next week, right?
Yeah.
268 yards, throws for a touchdown. He also scrambled a shit ton as well, but he's quick, right? He's got those legs. 10 yards, 10 to 10, 10 rushes, 66 yards. He was
Yeah.
also New England's leading rusher for a very different reason, right? That a
Right.
lot of those were design runs, and he looked good. He looked
Absolutely.
poised back there. He can move.
Yeah.
New England is that team right now.
Yeah. And Ramondre had a good game too. A couple big plays when they needed it the most. And
Yep.
yeah, for seeing Drake May in the playoffs for the very first time, he didn't disappoint. Like how can you ask for anything more of your quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback at home for the first time ever? And Patriots get their first win post Brady era in the
Oh, yeah,
playoffs.
that's right too, eh?
Yeah. So good on you, Drake May. Vrabel, first playoff win as a coach. Oh no, maybe not as a coach because he had Tennessee that was pretty good for a couple of years.
Yeah.
At least the Patriots coach. So
Yeah, exactly.
anyways, the yeah, Drake May looked good. And yeah, I think dissected that offense sounds pretty good. I mean, they stalled out a couple times in the red zone. Again, some drops and whatnot, but
Mhm.
man,
Found Hunter Henry, his favorite target there at one point for a beautiful touchdown. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
did what he had to
So
do. Yeah.
absolutely. So let's move on. Almost done this wild card weekend, and you think, okay, you'd save the best for last, right? Right? Ugh.
How about the worst for last? Is that okay?
No, that works too.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Sure.
who cares? You already entertained people all weekend. Is anybody even really paying attention on Monday night? Oh,
You'd like to think your NFL audiences are, but just put the stinker at the end. Maybe, hopefully, no, not too many people are watching. But yeah, the Houston Texans. I mean, give I don't want to say like this game was easily the shittiest game, but I don't want to give Houston more credit than they deserve here. This game was like 7-6
Hmm.
into the fourth quarter. Like
It
it was
was.
close and it was defense, defensive battle and a lot of turnovers back and forth as well. Stroud could not stop giving the fucking football away.
Hmm.
Just put it on the ground three times and is that right? Three? I think I remember seeing three. I'm not sure if that was the final stat. I might have missed some plays, but yeah, Stroud couldn't
I think so.
get out of his own way, so Pittsburgh was able to stay in this game till late, and then they're that Houston defense. Oh God, dude, best defense in the league.
They are scary. And kind of like I said last week, like when you got Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson run on both sides, like good luck if you're not mobile. And sure enough, yeah, Rogers got it taken to him, and I loved every second of it. But you know, the problem I have with Rogers here is that you're supposed to be this veteran leader. Yes, DK had a terrible drop, but here's your best weapon, and you stopped throwing it to him like partway through the second quarter after he dropped that ball. You did not throw another ball to him until the fourth quarter.
Which
What
is
are you
wild
doing? Your
because
body
you know
language
after
is
a drop, a receiver is fucking determined not to let it happen again. So he's on his game after that.
right.
So that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And your body language is terrible the whole time. You're throwing little fits, caught on camera, looking at the side, going, what the fuck are we doing? You're not setting this like mentality that you're going to win no matter what. You're just frustrated just like everybody else. And that's what the Texans want you to think. They want you to be frustrated because they rush you on every play. They don't hide anything. They're like, we're putting five on the line. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild how this defense can get after it,
Yeah.
and yeah, like those guys, like you said, and then you've got the guys in the secondary too, like Stingley,
Yeah.
like just an unbelievable defense, and they had to keep Stroud in this game because I just had to check the stats. Stroud didn't fumble three times; he actually fumbled five times. It doesn't say whether or not they were all lost. I can't remember. I
Uh,
know he lost three for sure that
well,
I
in all
saw.
fairness, that center was launching the balls to outer space. Like, I don't know what that guy did. He was snapping it early. Obviously, snapping
Oh
like he
no,
was
every fumble I saw was Stroud's fault. He was looking
no, well,
foolish.
there was a couple. Like I think
Okay.
he got sack fumbled on one. He like he had two snaps that came up like up past his shoulder here, at least. But and then one was a funky one too. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I think three of them were sack fumbles, but he was holding on to the ball way too long.
oh yeah, big time. But I mean,
And
again,
and threw a
once
pick. So like he was trying to give this game away. The 30-6 score does not illustrate at all how this game went.
no, not at all. And I mean, they lost Nico Collins too, so then they just started blanketed downfield.
Yeah.
And same for the Texans. Like, why are you gonna let them run deep? They've got like who? Rome Wilson, is it Scotty Miller or Skoranek? I don't know who they got. They got a plethora of guys that you don't care anything about, really. Marcus Valdez Scantling,
Calvin Austin.
Adam Thielen.
Adam
Like,
Thielen, yeah, that's right, yeah.
roll out the seven guys that aren't going to catch the ball, but your best guy you don't want to throw to. Fryermuth didn't even get a pass until like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, and I know they didn't put up much offense because they scored 6 points. Who also Calvo called that. Thank you very
You
much.
did actually, yeah.
But anyways, let's move on. Steelers going home. We don't have to watch that garbage team anymore this year.
Well, just going back to the Texans Steelers game just for a sec, like I was saying, this game was so close and low scoring until late into the fourth quarter, like I said, but it all changed with the defense, right? And I think like the Houston Texans have a lot of work to do if they want to go on a deep run here. They got to get that offense right. But to their credit, once that defense had that strip fumble and Rankins brought it in for the touchdown, right? Make it 17-6. Stroud finally woke up. And, the offense looked really good in that 13 play, 84-yard drive, took 6 minutes off the clock. They ended it with a touchdown there and essentially put the game on ice, right? But it took until that point, the defense continually trying to light a spark to fucking wake up the offense, and it finally worked. And then insult to injury with the pick six. And I think it's kind of funny. I saw something today. Aaron Rodgers will be the only quarterback in NFL history to, if he retires, throw his very last pass in an NFL game for a pick six in the playoffs.
Oh, I love that so much.
That's a shitty stat to have
Oh,
attributed to you, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers
couldn't
trying to force something in there late and picked off and brought back.
Couldn't have happened
Hmm.
to a better person.
But
Good
yeah,
time.
we can move on if you want.
Yeah, well, I think obviously exciting games. Maybe some fans are disappointed.
Yeah.
Lots of hope for next year for some other guys that went home, but I think moving into the divisional round now, like there's obviously this is where you start to narrow in. Is it does defense still win championships? Is it going to be these veteran quarterbacks that take over, or is it going to be the lines that carry these teams to the finals, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. And as we get deeper and deeper here, there's nothing but good matches, right?
All kinds of great matches, and like we're going to see some pretty good quarterbacks duking it out here the rest of the way, right? Drake May, he's got to go up against that Houston pass rush coming up, so we've got
Mm-hmm.
a real banger there. Stafford, see what he can do against that Bears defense. That's pretty. Not, they give up a lot of yards, but they're opportunistic, right? They create
Mm-hmm.
turnovers, so we'll see what Stafford can do there. Um, Josh Allen, he's he is the Buffalo offense, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
run and throw, and he probably wishes he could throw to himself, but we'll see what he can do against that Denver defense. Um, Denver obviously coming off the bye, they're going to be rested, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and then Brock Purdy has to face a Seattle defense that fucking dismantled him a couple weeks ago, and they're rested coming off the bye, so it's going to be interesting.
Right. Well, let's
But
start with the Bills versus Broncos. And this is
yeah,
the
sure.
first game that we're treated to on Saturday. And that's a 4:30 start. But of course, the Broncos were the number one seed in the AFC. So they got the bye last week, let some teams beat each other up,
Yep.
get a little feel for what this Bills offense is going to do, right? And I think what interests me the most is that Bills don't really have a number one receiver, right? They've got a plethora of guys that can make plays. And then, of course, you rely on Josh Allen and James Cook for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a little guy called Pat Surtain on the other side that he is going to shut down half of that field. I'm
Yeah.
very concerned for Buffalo, and this is a rematch of last year too, first round of the playoffs.
That's right. And obviously Buffalo took that match.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. Like they don't really have that clear cut number one. I feel like Buffalo has a bunch of WR3s,
Yeah.
and just Josh kind of uses them, pretty evenly, pretty equally whenever he feels like he needs to. But yeah, it's basically him and James Cook. Um, I think the tight ends are going to have to be a difference, right? Like Khalil Shakir is going to be blanketed. He's going to be blanketed by Pat Surtain, right? So use your tight ends, get them, a couple yards downfield, get them in those mismatches against linebackers. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid are scary players to have to face, right? As a defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you tough
For
guys to match
sure.
up, big bodies, they got great hands. So I think Josh Allen's going to have to use them. But this is going to be a hell of a battle, man.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Bills is that their defense is getting pretty banged up now too. And
Yeah.
I heard that what's his name, Tyrell Shavers tore his
Hmm.
ACL in like the second quarter last game,
Hmm.
played the whole game and only played like 5% snaps less than like Josh Palmer or something. Like it's
He must have
insane.
had it taped and just felt
Oh,
pain, but didn't feel any instability because would have had to been taped tight, man, because he
oh
was
yeah,
going over on that thing all the fucking time.
right. Exactly. He's been kind of a bit of a deep threat for them lately,
Yeah.
but yes, I think, if they can start blanketing some of the stuff down the field, then they're going to frustrate Buffalo all game. This is going to be, I think, one of those low scoring battles, kind of like we witnessed between, say, Steelers and the Texans, because both teams can get it done.
Josh Allen's offensive line better fucking show up this week because Denver's defense led the league in sacks this year,
Yeah.
68 sacks this year, tops in the NFL. They've also, I mean,
Bonino, Bonino, Bonino.
Bills had more picks and stuff like that, and turnover differential favored the Bills a little bit as well. So they're gonna have to use stuff like that to their advantage. Hopefully, they can create some turnovers. But yeah,
Mhm.
you better protect Josh because I think he's gonna be running for his life a little bit, which he's okay doing. It's Josh.
Right.
He's basically Superman on the football field, but
I was
he's
gonna
we
say
we
that's
know
what
he's
he's
fucking
like.
banged up. Like he's hurting.
Oh yeah.
His he probably has a he's well, we know he's nursing at least a few injuries right now. So
Oh yeah. He does not want to get banged up in this one. And like you're right, I don't think
he
he's
probably
necessarily
will.
scared to get out of the pocket because a lot of times that's how they extend and create these big plays for their offense. But and if they don't strike early and often, they might be in deep against this Denver team. So
I would agree with that, but what are you thinking for outcome? Who wins and what's your score?
Let's talk about this for 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a perfect bracket going right now.
You do. You do.
I
You
went
guessed all six
six.
games. Yeah.
So there's a lot more at stake in this one because I've got a few game lead on you here in the bracket,
Going
but
6 for 6 is pretty sweet.
I'd like to see if I can get a perfect bracket the rest of the way. So I think, I think the Broncos get their revenge, and the Ponies are going to ride at home to a 24-14 victory over the Bills.
Okay. Okay. I got Bills 31-28. Tight game.
Banger.
Bills come out on top again.
Nice. That would be very entertaining. Well, bud, much to your dismay, the 49ers move on to face the Seattle Seahawks.
Welcome.
Got a West matchup here, and this one's going to get spicy because the Seahawks blew them out in week 18 when all of it was on the line. Seahawks got a week to rest up. 49ers are riding high. Who comes out in this one?
Well, in week 18, when the Seahawks won 13-3, I think I read something about the Niners had 173 yards of total offense, which is the very least in any game coached by Kyle Shanahan since taking over the head coaching job, I think 2017 or something like that. So the Seahawks holding them to the least amount of yards on offense and 3 points, which is tied. I think I read it was tied for the least as well with a game from, I think, his first year back in 2017. Shanahan doesn't get shut out like that. So is San Fran going to come back with a lot more punch on offense? Probably. Is Seattle still a lot better? Most definitely. So I like Seattle in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I like Seattle too. They've got they're a lot healthier. Obviously, you feel for 49ers and George
Mhm.
Kittle. Love that guy. Never want to see him get hurt, but he seems to always be hurt. And just tore his Achilles in this one,
Yep.
or last game. So he'll be out for this one. So it'll come down to Darnold versus Purdy, I think, in the grand scheme of these. And both quarterbacks, let's be honest about things, are very prone to turning the ball over. They like to sling the ball. I'm gonna repeat that because I feel like both quarterbacks like to sling the ball down the field, so that opens you up to a little bit more mayhem, if you will. So both defenses are great. Should see some takeaways in this one. So whatever team, like most games, can take care of and run the ball is going to be the most successful team tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have to. San Fran is going to have to establish the ground game for sure. Christian McCaffrey is going to have a day because Brock Purdy is prone to the pick, and they turned the ball over. San Fran was -6 this year. They were 25th in the league with the turnover differential. They also don't get after it as far as rushing the quarterback. They were dead last
Mm-hmm.
this year in the entire NFL with quarterback sacks, defensive sacks. So they only had 20. Seattle had over double that. They were seventh in the league. So Seattle, that front is going to get after it. They're going to put pressure on Purdy. He's prone to those picks, and we've seen it before. So yeah, like I really think that it's going to have to be a ground game for San Fran if they want any chance, and they're going to have to mix in some different looks and maybe some trick plays like the one that they used against
Mm-hmm.
Philly to take the lead in the fourth there. But I really
Sure.
like Seattle, and they just the bye week only. I guess you can call it a bye week, a second bye week. The first round bye really fucking helped them get healthier, get rested
Mm-hmm.
up, work on some things in practice, I'm sure, and they're ready to go, man.
Well, if you don't come out motivated, then there's something wrong, right? So, especially for Sam Darnold, he's got a lot to prove.
Yeah. And credit to Seattle because they've got two backs that can get after, right? If it's not Kenneth Walker, it's Zach Charbonnet, where San Fran doesn't really have that luxury. It's McCaffrey's their workhorse, and if he goes down, they're probably fucked. But if Kenny Walker goes down, Zach Charbonnet can fill in, and vice versa, type
Yeah.
of thing, right? So, and they've got that O line, get lots of protection, open up holes for them.
You don't,
Oh, sorry,
you
go ahead.
don't, you don't trust B Rob?
I don't trust B Rob. No, never have. Maybe that
That's
goes
fair.
back to his days as a commander,
Oh,
division rival, but
it goes back to his days getting shot.
yeah.
San Fran leads the league in guys that got shot.
Little piece of metal takes him down that easily.
right?
Eh? Like,
Wow,
what chance does he stand against a human?
right?
Yep.
Is it unfair that San Fran has two guys that survived gun attacks? Like that's pretty wild. Like legit, that is
B-Rob
wild.
and Ricky Pearsall, that is wild for sure. Yeah.
And speaking of Ricky, I haven't heard what his status is for this game. He's been dealing with his knee injury, so
That
um,
whole team has been a hospital team all year, so
right. Did you see the thing that's come out now? There's basically like a janitorial guy that works there, and he's come out and he said, well, there's like this big power station basically right beside the field. So all these magnetic waves are coming through the ground, and it's basically like weakening these guys' tendons and muscles from all the shock therapy that's running below the ground. I don't know. It's come
mm,
out. I'm a little suspicious of it because you
highly
have to think these
suspicious.
things are pretty grounded, but
I'd like to see the facts and the science on that first, but
right.
I mean,
It's just a theory. It's
it's
just a theory.
I
I'm
mean,
not
it's
stating it as fact,
as
but
much as a legitimate conspiracy theory as anything, right? So sure, yeah, it could be. It could be.
I
I'd like
mean,
to
they
see
are.
the science on that,
I,
but
if I'm one of the players there, I'd like to take a little bit more solace in that, just like them being straight up cursed. Like I play for the team, I'm gonna get hurt no matter what. I feel like that about the Lions too. Like, don't come here if you don't want to get hurt.
getting microwaved on their practice field, and it's weakening their bones and shit. Okay.
Right?
Well, that's a first for me hearing that. So yeah.
Sure. Well,
But
speaking of guys with weak bones, no, I was just joking. I don't know how to transition. I don't know.
well, we know this San Fran Seattle game is going to be an absolute fucking slugfest. But speaking of slugfests, we've got a Houston Texans defense, which is arguably well, I don't even know if it's arguable, best defense in the league. They just showed it against Pittsburgh in the wild card round, going up against New England, who has a pretty fucking good defense as well. Oh, and hey, they've also got Drake May, who's in the running for
Right?
MVP. So this game is going to be. I think this one's going to be the game of the week. I think this one gets crazy.
You do.
Yeah, I do. I think like they both played kind of shitty, boring games the first week of the playoffs. I think they're going to make up for that this week. I think this one gets wild.
That's fair. I think just kind of like we just witnessed, it's going to be one of these stuck in the mud games for a little
Oh,
bit.
hold on. Did we do our
No,
score picks?
I was just going to say it, but I didn't want to interrupt
Well, fuck.
your
Yeah,
point.
let's. Okay, what do you think? Niners, Seahawks.
I'm going to say Seahawks 24, 49ers 20.
That's actually not far off from what I was going to pick. I'm going to go Seahawks. I think 20. Yeah, I'll go 21-17. All right.
Close game.
Houston, New England, go.
I am going to take,
Oh, we can talk more about the game if you want, but yeah, we can do scores off the hop too.
yeah, let's do that because
Fuck.
we'll preface that. So I will take the Houston Texans to upset the Patriots on the road. I'm going to say 14-10. I don't
Okay.
like it. I like this score to be a lot more extravagant than it is, but I trying to be realistic
That
here.
sounds like a fucking dud of a football game right there. But
Depends
you
on
know
how the
what?
takeaways happen.
Normally we don't agree very often. We're going to agree again. I do think the Texans win this game and go to the AFC Championship. I do think it's going to be a lot more high scoring than 14-10 though. So I'm going to go I think 30 let's go 36 to 30 for the Patriots. Or sorry, for the Texans.
For the
36-30
Texans.
for the Texans. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, man. Awesome. Do we want to, yeah, let's get into this a little bit. Like, why are you thinking it's going to be Texans and why are you thinking it's going to be so low scoring?
Well, I just kind of like we talked about already. Both teams have very good defenses. Both teams want to play for their coach, who are both defensive coaches, right? So these teams play the game the right way. They're
Yeah.
physical. They'll nickel and dime you all the way down the field if they have to. Partly why I think that it's going to be a little bit more low scoring is because I think both teams are going to want to establish the run. It's what both teams do well. Um, both teams have some weapons to go downfield, but if they can establish the run, then it's obviously going to chew up more clock too. So I feel like they're not going to want to give the ball to each other, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. I could agree with that, and that does make sense. Just looking at and this probably has no bearing on it because New England was fucking trash last season. But the previous matchup, the Texans won 41 to 21.
Hmm.
Stroud obviously lit him up. I think, I think this weekend things get a little bit easier for Stroud. I think New England doesn't have quite the pass rush that Pittsburgh has. So I think Stroud's going to have a little bit more time in the pocket, a little bit more time to make his decisions. If he has to scramble, he's not going to be in quite as much danger. I don't think they can, get after it like TJ Watt and those guys can, right? So,
Hmm.
I do think Stroud rebounds here and maybe a bit of a, I mean, that Texans defense is fucking stupid, but I think Drake May is going to pick him apart a little bit. And that's why I think it's going to be fairly high scoring. But Stroud's going to have a statement game on offense too. So
I mean, I can see it. I
yeah,
like Drake May a lot, and just kind of like we talked about Stroud last week with his 5 turnovers. It's something that May kind of struggles with too. And when you have such a formidable defense, and like we said, we've got Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson running off both sides,
yeah,
then plus whoever else are going to throw up the middle, and their safeties come down a lot. So it's gonna be quite interesting. But you know me, man, I'm a major fan of CJ Stroud, and
I
I
know.
think um again, if this is where you want to take the next step, right? Like you've already won multiple playoff games. Drake May just won his first, right? So you need to go in there and you say, okay, well, I've been in this position before, I've been in this round before. This is my time to take the next step and go on the road and beat one of the higher seeds.
Yeah, and I think the telltale stat here, the biggest difference maker that I can see is the fact that the Texans were plus 17 in turnover differential this year, good for
Right.
second in the entire league to the Chicago Bears. So I think that's going to factor in. I think that they get, I don't know, I think they can probably pick May off once or twice, get those, Ramondre's prone to putting the ball on the ground here and there, so Ramondre Stevenson could fumble. I think that'll be the difference, and then Stroud will put it away. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game though.
Absolutely. We're in for a treat.
Yeah, I think this will also might be a really good game and a perfect way to cap off the divisional round weekend. So we
Mm-hmm.
got Sunday night at 6, or is it 6:30? 6:30.
Yep, 6:30.
Rams and Bears to cap off divisional round weekend, and a lot of people are heavily saying the Rams are pretty heavily favored again this week, and
Mm-hmm.
they proved it doesn't matter how heavily they're favored. They can make a game interesting. So what do you think happens here?
Well, and I think you just said it best, right? It's okay. Well, what Rams team are we going to get? Are we going to
Yeah,
get the team that's destined to go to the Super Bowl? Or are we going to get this team that's been taken to the brink and lost to teams that they probably shouldn't have lost to? And it's we're in this like okay, the Bears are riding high. They're playing with house money, man. They got nothing to lose. And Ben Johnson's going to throw it all out there. He's already schemed against this Rams team multiple times as the coordinator for the Lions in big playoff games.
yep,
And so it's going to come down to okay, obviously Stafford has faced the Bears multiple times in his career. Much different team now than when he faced them in Detroit. Um, I like this matchup because it's one of this classic like high-powered offense versus a high-powered defense, and you can kind of say it both ways. Although I think the Rams, what scares me a little bit about the Rams in this one is that they can be got with the run.
they
And
can. Yeah.
Swift and Mononga have been playing very well together as a combo. So if Ben Johnson can get the run game going, the Rams might go down quite a bit early.
And there is a very good potential for that to happen. That Bears run game has been good, and I mean all the pretty much all the offensive stats favor the Rams. Most of the defensive stats favor the Rams as well. But the Rams, I think, had one of the best or the best defense through week 6, and then after that, we're bottom half of the league.
Yep.
So our middle of the pack, I think at best, from a lot of the stats that I saw. So yeah, which Rams defense are you going to get? Is Caleb going to be able to come up with some fourth quarter magic again? Because he seems to be able to do it all year. What's one more, right? And is it going to come to that? It may. And yeah, that Chicago run game is going to be a huge difference. But I think, it's how do you bet against Matt Stafford this year, right? With the crazy things that he's doing. So
Hmm. Well, one thing is for sure, like even if they're down in the fourth, don't count them out, right? Because it's going to be, again, one of these games that you better buckle up because that last 5 minutes could have two or three lead changes. You never know.
Don't turn the ball over, Rams. Like the Chicago's a bend but not break type of defense. They'll bend a lot, they'll give up a lot of yards, but they turn that fucking ball over like crazy. So just be smart about it, Matty Stafford.
Absolutely. Well, Bravonians, I hope you're excited for this next round of playoff football.
What's your
We are.
score? What's your score take for this?
Ooh,
Who do you think's winning?
Rams 34, Bears 28.
We are no fun for the Bravonians this week because I can't see. I think last week was the wake up call the Rams needed against the Panthers.
Hmm.
I think they kind of kick it into gear now. Last year, the Rams almost beat the Eagles in the playoffs on the Eagles' trek to the Super Bowl. That was the hardest team we played. I said it right at that point at the end of the year. I said the Rams were the second best team in the league. That was by far the toughest team we played. They were the second best team in the league by year's end, and they're going to go far this year. And sure enough, yeah. So I think that they're going to get through this, and they're going to actually probably get to the Super Bowl again. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's worry about this week. I think Rams 35, Chicago 21.
Nice.
Yeah. Chicago has it's a nice year. That's a nice year. Win the division though, make it to the divisional round. That's a nice year. That's something you build off of, right?
I can't, in good faith, take my boy to lose
No,
against the Bears.
against the
I
rival
just,
Bears. No, you
I
can't.
just, I can't. I
Can't do
can't.
it.
I love you, Maddie. Go get it done, bud.
We've picked three of the same four teams to get through this week. So
Well,
maybe
it's
I
okay.
subconsciously was like, oh, Calvo went 6 for 6 last week. I just got to follow his lead here.
just do it. Now I'm gonna go over.
Calvo picks
Over.
winners. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Really gets all them wrong here. Oh
Shit.
man.
Well, oftentimes when you do a podcast like this, you make predictions. You're gonna be wrong. And why not keep this going? And how about a new segment called Keep These Receipts?
Sure.
And a little bit of bold predictions, if you will. And maybe I'll start off because remember a couple years ago when I said Russell Wilson was going to go to the Steelers?
You did. Yeah.
That was a bold prediction,
Yeah.
and it worked. My bold prediction for the 2026-2027 year, with Mahomes being out for a good portion of the year and probably the majority of the team coming back, I believe that Kirk Cousins will be a Kansas City Chief. Might even happen on draft day.
Wow.
And he
That's
rides the Chiefs until Mahomes can come back.
that's a bold one for sure. Kirk Cousins, the journeyman late in his career, going to the Chiefs, eh? Put on another red jersey. That's crazy. I don't think I think you might be the first person in the world to have made this prediction.
Maybe. I
Or
mean,
have you seen that somewhere?
no, I have not seen that
Okay.
anywhere. I think I even mentioned this to you a couple of weeks ago that I have this feeling because you've got this whole new regime coming in Atlanta. They just fired the head coach, they fired the GM. Kirk Cousins isn't their guy. They're going to get him out of there. He makes way too much money. They might even flip in a high pick just so that way they'll take the money back. But I think Kirk Cousins. Why not? You've got a team. If Andy Reid's staying there, Andy Reid's not being there to have some guy they haven't, like there'll be a vet quarterback in there before the end of the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a smart call that they get someone. I would never have said Cousins. That's wild. So, any other receipts you want to make sure we keep?
Yeah, I think let's do it. The Lions return to the postseason, get back on top of the NFC North with their last place scheduled for next year.
Is that
Crushing.
bold?
Well, they still got to win them.
Yeah, it's a cupcake fucking schedule though. We've looked ahead. But yeah, I mean, there's
Hey,
no way of knowing how it's going to play out with injuries or whatever happens, right? So yeah, I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
I'm just saying they got to get back on top of the NFC North.
I can't see them not winning 14 games next year for sure. They
See
play
how
like
it
two tough
goes.
teams.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you? Any bold predictions?
Uh, you know what? I do. I'm riding high on this Carolina Panthers team. I love the Jags in the AFC.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm becoming less of an Eagles. No, I'm not becoming less
Are
of a
are
Bruce
you
fan.
are you a Cats fan? Like,
I
is
might be a Cats
Detroit
fan. I
on the
really
list?
like, I feel like Carolina, like you felt about Houston and Stroud. Like, I'm loving
Mhm.
what Bryce Young is doing. I love that they immediately, as soon as the season ended, picked up his fifth year option. They obviously have confidence in this guy to turn, get things right turned around next year. I think the Carolina Panthers, they shore up that offensive line. They add a piece on defense, maybe in the draft, maybe they sign someone. But I think the Carolina Panthers not only win the division, the NFC South, I think they're the number one seed in the NFC next year, buddy.
Whew. Keep that
Carolina
receipt
Panthers. Isn't that
for
wild?
sure.
They haven't done that since Cam Newton had them go, I think 15 and 1. When was that? 2015, 2016 when he was MVP?
Somewhere in there.
And since then Carolina's been an absolute dog shit franchise, but I think Bryce Young, maybe not Cam Newton levels of efficiency, and Cam Newton's prime, man, holy shit. Now he's an asshole, but
So
uh
good.
yeah, Bryce Young, man, I think Carolina's going to be really fucking good.
Well, you know who I think is going to be really fucking good? And that's Jeremiah Love.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's projected to go to like KC, the Saints. I'm going to throw it out there. The Texans are going to draft Jeremiah Love and they're just going to pluck. Their defense is great. What do they need a defensive player for? The run game is their one real weakness. Go get Jeremiah Love. Now you have an unstoppable offense and unstoppable defense.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. They need a playmaker. They need a big difference maker. Um, who knows what's going to happen with Mixon ever anymore, right? So,
Right? That's
um,
kind of half my point too. You got Chubb, he's done.
Chubb's
Woody
probably at the
Marks
end of
looked
his
good.
career. He has actually come on quite
Mm-hmm.
strong. And this year, Woody Marks, he's really good. He looked good in the divisional round game for the most part there. But yeah,
Wildcard
is he
weekend.
going to be the lead back, the future? No, you want to get a guy like Jeremiah Love. I could see that. That's a solid prediction, man. I think it'd be hilarious if the Packers drafted Jeremiah Love.
J Love
Jordan,
to J Love.
yeah, Jordan Love, Jeremiah Love. All right, what do you got any more? Or?
Well, I think maybe it's not so bold, but what do you think about the Ravens planning for life after Lamar? Harbaugh's gone. Who knows? Do they want to go in a different direction here?
Did you see what they had, the owner did a press conference or something today just before
Oh,
we recorded,
wild.
and they asked him if Tyler Loop had made that kick against the Steelers to send the Ravens to the playoffs, would John Harbaugh still be employed? And didn't even fucking mince words. He was like, for 1 week.
Yeah.
Like a
In other
guy who
words, we
was your,
expect to get smacked by the Texans.
well, that, and like,
Such a weird comment.
what if you win? Are you gonna fire him after the win? Like,
I know.
Um, I feel like a guy who gave you 18 years of solid coaching, right? Like the Ravens were good many of those years. They won a
Oh
Super
yeah.
Bowl. That's a little disrespectful.
I would say that
Would
guy
you,
looked
would
like a
would
pretty
Harbaugh
big
still be
douche.
in a job for 1 week?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Brutal.
What a
But
douche.
you're right. If they're ready to get rid of Harbaugh and move on to a new era, we saw a pretty shitty Lamar Jackson this year. He was injured a fair bit. We'll give him that. So, when you're coming back and leaving with injury and coming back and trying to get right,
Mhm.
yeah, your timing, yeah, everything's going to be off a little bit. I think when he was healthy, like this was not the Lamar we know. And maybe we're there. Maybe he just needs a bounce back year, but I don't know. I think yeah, that could be bold, but it could be what the Ravens need, right? What do you think?
I think now's the time to do it. If you're
Yeah.
gonna blow it up, blow it up. You got rid of the coach. Like, I don't know. Personally, being a Lions fan, like I've seen that one stretch where we had Matty Stafford. We had like four different coaches. I can't blame him for wanting to leave, right? Like at some point, like again, Lamar makes too much money.
Yeah.
Henry's getting older. The defense is getting older. At some point, you're just gonna be like, okay, sell off. We're gonna get younger. There's a new coach in here. There's less expectations on everybody. Let's just build it back up. I don't think it's too crazy to think.
Yeah, but I would also still say that like the Ravens going into last year were the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Like that team is still mostly intact, and I think that, I mean, you get a little better injury luck, right? And you go on, like, that offense
Yeah.
needs a piece, probably needs a receiver. You got Derrick Henry. Um, the defense could probably use a couple pieces, right? I think the secondary looks pretty good, but the D line could probably use some work. But like if Lamar has that bounce back year that he can have, his former two-time MVP,
Yeah.
get him another weapon on offense, get him, yeah, let's see a new scheme that he vibes with, right? Like I heard a lot of, like you said, about Isaiah Likely having that going away party after they heard Harbaugh got fired and didn't invite Harbaugh, right? Like
Right.
they were happy he was fired. So there's obviously
Yeah,
something they need a new voice in there.
for
Maybe they
sure.
need a new quarterback. Yeah, who knows? I think
Yeah,
Lamar could bounce back though. So
I think you'll get quite a bit from him. I think you're never gonna get another Lamar, but I think you gotta at least listen.
yeah, well, especially with what you could get in the trade market for Lamar for sure. You got to listen, at least pick up the phone, right?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Unless you got any other bold predictions.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Locks and dogs, buddy.
Hell yeah. I mean, hell no.
Not a good week for you, my
No,
friend.
was not. My lock lost and my dog lost.
Ooh.
Seattle, sorry, I'm going with Seattle this week. I went with Eagles and Jags last week. They fucking blew it. But you, buddy, looking good. You went 2-0.
2-0, climbing that dog record back to 9-10. Bravonians. Do you remember how I started? Was I like 2-10?
Well, I think you were definitely 4-10 at one point for sure. Yeah. It's
Keep
uh, it's
rolling.
it's respectable. So you won with the Niners last week because fuck you. Who you going with this week for your dog?
My dog. I've already kind of mentioned, and we both kind of agreed. So I don't make the rules. I'm going to take the Texans over the Patriots as my dog of the week.
Texans get it done over the Pats. I like it. I like it. I went with the Jags last week. Sorry to see them lose. That game could have gone either way, though. Hell of an effort. But I'm going to go this week with my dog, the team that took the Jags down. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I think they upset the one seed ponies. Buffalo goes into Denver and knocks them off. So give me the Bills as my dog.
Dang.
Hell yeah.
Dang. Well, with your loss
Hmm.
and my win on the locks, tied the record back up.
We are tied, buddy.
Last weekend, you were crowning yourself champion of the locks. I said, no, 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 no. We're going deep, going deep. 15 and
Yeah.
4 for both
15
of
and
us.
4.
I said it once, I'll say it again, and you'll probably hear this guy say it about 20 more times. I love Matthew Stafford, and there is no way he's going to let me down and let the Bears go on to a championship game.
You're probably right.
Let's go, Matthew Stafford and the Rams.
Solid pick, and
It's a nervous pick, though, because they've screwed me like 3 times this year.
they have. They have actually. They're losing a couple games where they definitely should not be, and letting teams stay competitive. Even last week against Carolina, so it might be a little bit risky.
They said that the Rams were like, or Matt Stafford's like 0-15 in road games in the weather. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
going with it, though. I'm
Yeah.
going with it. Come
Hey,
on.
it's ballsy. I like it. It's brave. With my loss there with my lock last week, I go to 15 and 4. Fucking Eagles let me down. So this week, I gotta take the team that's playing the team that beat my team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Going
I mean,
the
it's more justified,
I'm
right?
the dude that's playing the dude disguised as the other dude. Seattle Seahawks to beat those fraudulent fucking 49ers. Give me the Seahawks. The one seed gets through in the NFC. Let's go.
All right. Well, Bravonians, it's been a slice for this week. Let us know who's your locks, who's your dogs. What matchup are you looking forward to the most? What matchup shocked you the most in the wild card round? We want to hear it all. Let us know who you're rooting for the rest of the way and give us some of your bold predictions for next year, too. One thing we know for sure, this weekend's going to be a banger. So if you get the chance to enjoy it, don't take it for granted because you never know when the season could be over. For Brooksee, I'm Calvo. See you next week.
See you next week.